Serious, what thing have you stopped caring about, and as a result your life has drastically improved? Whether I have a lot of friends, rather than a few great ones, I focused more on the great friends who support and enrich me rather than the leeches and sometimes friends who made me unhappier. I sort of did the other way around. I stopped focusing on making everyone a great friend and accepted that some were just temporary and enjoyed being close to them while it lasted. It's okay to get super well along with someone and then almost never talking to her again once that initial rush goes away. You don't have to stay in touch once it's not the same. Doing something important with my life. I just want to laugh and be happy more often than sad. This is what I want out of life too. Not that house, that car, that number of kids, that wedding by that age, that job, that salary. I just want to have had the most happiness pleasure I could soak out of my time here. No matter if that happiness comes from watching a TV show, doing bungee jumping, smoking that much needed cigarette, or rescuing a dog. Don't know how to put this, but I stopped putting negative energy into people I disagreed with or didn't like. When I was younger, I would be annoyed by perky people because I felt they were fake. Or, if someone had a genuinely dumb opinion, I felt really frustrated because I wanted them to somehow feel bad. Now, I just don't care. In fact, if someone is pretty dumb but not hurting anyone, then I think they should be happy, because we have enough misery in the world as it is. Overall, I feel much happier and more free because of it. I see negative people as time and energy wasters, and I used to be super negative, and still am generally a pessimist. That's why internet trolls annoy me to no end. They are taking time and effort to make innocent bystanders unhappy. It's not even the stupid things they say that get me. It's the waste of time and resources for something so petty. And it's that I think they, and everyone they affect, would be happier if the trolls would just let things be. Obviously, the pettiness is part of their power so they win in the end. Stop caring about what your friends have bought or own. When I stopped, all of a sudden I started saving money as I no longer needed the latest crap. 5-year-old iPhone? Yeah, I'm perfectly okay with that. That some people think my hobbies are lame. Screw them. I have a decently successful career. I own my own house. I'm very happily married. If I want to obsessively watch fighting game tournaments on Twitch and go to local gatherings to play them when I have the time, then I'm going to, and I'm not going to hide my excitement for them. Or, in my case, Legos. I'm a 27-year-old who loves building Lego sets. I have them lined up along my entertainment center. I own my own home and I'm going to decorate it with Legos, damn it. I deactivated my Facebook account. For some reason I cared what people from high school and random people I know thought about me. Alternatively, I just unfriended all those people and really only keep the people I would ever need to communicate with. What my parents think of me ruined my relationship with my nosy, overbearing father. Healed and improved my relationship with my mom. Good job. That's definitely not easy cause we're raised to please them. I battle it sometimes still, but I'm really making some progress lately. Drinking. Specifically going to the bar. You see, when you slide from your 20s to your 30s, you might find yourself part of bar culture. I made 2 very close friends there, out of the hundreds of people I met and knew well enough to email, call, go to lunch with, etc. That's not how it feels, though. It feels as if each of those people that you see daily or 3 times a week or each weekend is truly a friend, someone you can count on, and someone who cares for you, your life and your troubles. They're not. As you continue going to the same place, week after week, it gets easier to stay, and the drinking increases. Eventually you find yourself in a place where you've pee away thousands on alcohol, you're drinking way too much, and you simply don't know what to do with yourself if it doesn't involve the bar. It's very hard to break this pattern. It changed my life when I did. I decided to stop wearing makeup for 6 months straight about 5 years ago. I never went back. I didn't realize how much time and energy it actually took. I also realized how closely you have to look at your face to put makeup on. When I stopped doing that every day, I stopped being so critical of my own looks. When I stopped caring obsessively about my appearance, at 26, I finally became secure enough with myself to be able to go out in public without makeup on. It's been so liberating, and it's given me a new confidence I didn't have in my early 20s. I've been taking much better care of my skin, washing it nightly and moisturizing sunscreen. I'm focusing more on having healthy skin than on tanning beds and heavy makeup as I used to, and I'm sure I'll be glad I did later on. Agreed. I think realizing that I'm downright ugly to some people and becoming okay with that has made my life so much better. It's easy to internalize the idea that attractiveness is a measure of worth, especially but not only for women, and breaking out of that is difficult but so freeing. I used to spend a lot of time and money trying to remove the blackheads on my face. One visit to AskReddit Addiction taught me that they weren't blackheads, they were sebaceous filaments and basically could not be removed. Have saved quite a lot of time and money since this discovery. Road rage. I might have a burst of frustration, but then I'll let it go. I'm probably never going to deal with them again, and I'm still able to make it to my destination just fine. Hanging on to that anger and stress isn't helpful at all. I apologize for how euphoric this is going to sound, but honestly, religion. I grew up trying to be the perfect Christian girl, but that was never really me. It was like I was trying to shoehorn myself into these arbitrary rules, when I had always felt like the golden rule was kind of enough. It all just felt like a huge waste of time and energy, and by the end got so tiring. Now my life has never been better. As a religious person, I don't. Religion is for everyone, especially the more evangelical fundamentalist strains of the faith, which frankly are awful. Do what works, as far as I'm concerned. The fact that my kid is behind the head, has more teeth, less hair, shorter, not walking, sleeps better, etc. than the kid playing next to her, it just doesn't matter. I am so glad that I have never had this problem. I'm sure it must suck. Every time I look at my little tornado, he just seems so happy and makes me so happy. God dang, I love that kid. Money or possessions. I earn the least amount I need to survive, and as I spend little, live off grid or own little, it is easy. Most people spend all their lives working jobs they hate to afford to buy things they do not really want or need. In the end, their possessions or desire for things they have been brainwashed into thinking they need controls all their lives. Rushing. Spent the last few years with people constantly asking when if be finished uni and earning real money. Stopped giving a frick about 6 months ago and decided that things will take as long as they take. It doesn't matter as long as I'm enjoying myself. So just tacked on another year to my degree so that I can go on a 12-month university exchange in September. Can't wait. I wanted to post this on every comment I read, but obviously that's a no-go, so I'll just say it here. Good job, brother. Good job, sister. Women. In a romantic sense, it took me until college to lose my virginity to a girl who I was dating for around half a year. We had a bad breakup where she completely abused my trust in her. After that, I slowly stopped trying to appeal to women and I deactivated my OkCupid profile. Not because I was bitter, but because I proved to myself that I was relationship able and I no longer felt like I needed to seek one out so adamantly. I'm not saying this is a good thing. I'm still lonely, but just not sad about it. I still hope to have a relationship and start a family, but I feel like I'll just find love out of the blue one day. Focus on yourself, the rest will fall into place. Being friends with the other women in my neighborhood. I used to see them hanging out together, playing with their kids, talking about wine nights. I didn't actually want to hang out with them, but I thought I should that I should be like the other neighborhood women. Then I realized no, I really don't have any desire to be friends with them. It feels great. Greetings from the future, 1950s. Advancement in corporate America. Everywhere I've ever worked, my boss has had a really crappy job and has worked absolutely ludicrous hours. I honestly don't understand how anyone could ever want a promotion when it means losing 90% of your free family time. That time is not worth the extra money after a certain point. Less life-changing than most of those here, but adaptations of books. It's so much work to be annoyed that one medium can't be 100% true to your personal interpretation of something created in an entirely different medium. I find the adaptation process fascinating, so I actually enjoy thinking about the choices made when adapting stories in books and what makes it successful or unsuccessful in different mediums. And you are right. When you stop caring so much about it having to be totally faithful to the book, you can enjoy it on a whole different level, while still retaining your love of the book version. It's a work in progress, but I am trying to stop caring what people think of me, especially appearance-wise. Us unattractive people have to do that at some point. Best part about that is that you start to look more confident, and therefore more attractive. Being somebody, fame and recognition requires more luck than hard work. Better to enjoy what you do and how you live than strive for something over which you have no control. Yep, I'm an artist, but I'm terrified of fame. I just want to show my art to the people that I care about, in a controlled environment, maybe some small local galleries. I have friends who are properly famous and I see what it does to their lives. I really wouldn't want to have to cope with that. The news. I cut the cord in 2008, and I haven't ever missed the news. I haven't seen CNN, MSNBC, Fox, or any others except in passing for 7 years. How has my life been better? Well, there was a plane that went missing a while back, and I felt bad for the families affected. I heard at some point that there was a guy who decided he was a girl, and I thought that was really cool for him that he could do that. I heard about an alarming number of police killing civilians and some seemingly understandable uproar, too. But you know what? The sky hasn't fallen, and I'm pretty sure that my kids are gonna be alright. It's not that I ignore the world, it's that I don't pay attention to the sensationalism of mainstream US news. I'm only sad because I think things would be better if everyone else joined me. Frick the news. That stuff is so jaded. Don't sweat the small stuff. None of it. Here's how to do that. If you find yourself getting upset about something, ask yourself if it's something you'll remember vividly a year from now. Write down to the date. If not, just shrug it off and don't get upset about it at all. Some things you'll remember. When something legitimately awful happens, like someone you care about dies, you remember where and when and all the unfortunate details. And that's something which is perfectly reasonable to get upset about. But that parking ticket? That somewhat embarrassing thing you accidentally did in front of strangers? That idiot who cut you off in traffic but didn't result in an accident? It's actually not important. In fact, you'll barely remember a year from now, if at all. Your comment just saved my day, 3, and probably a lot more than that. Thank you for taking the time to type it. It has made a simple but significant difference to at least one person's life. My sexual orientation, gender identity. I just stopped caring about it and just put myself down as whatever. Less anxiety, depression, and just less bleh. The opinion of my family. Specifically my mother's opinion. I graduated from a top high school, 3-sport athlete, rose at 5 every morning and was by home at 7 every night doing homework until 10 and would fall back asleep. I graduated with above a 3.8, took over 5 college courses, did not party, and was about as reserved as it got. I always thought that eventually I'd be able to prove myself to my immediate family so they would lay off of me and let me live my own life, or at least not question all my decisions and any instances that were not triumphs, asking if I ever actually cared about what I was doing. I'm almost through college, have above a 3.5 in engineering, have had multiple internships. I've put a lot of time and work into this whole college thing. There will be times I'll get asked how I'm doing this semester and I'll say I'm in a really tough class. I'm working my butt off, but I may get my first C ever in college. My mom will blow up at me so hard for that. I learned pretty quickly I just can't tell her anything. And it kills me because I'll just say I'm doing great, mom. Well, she wants a full grade breakdown. All A's, mom. And that's the only thing that will get the job done. It means when I come back at the end of the semester with a 3.75 she's P. But the last thing I need is her calling me every other day asking how that class is coming. She doesn't know how to back off or take suggestions from us, and she is the first to lose her temper and do something way too extreme to counter. The only way to get around it is to just not care. It's for the best that I work for my own sake and my own standards rather than my family's, because I'll never be let off the chain to them and I'll never be able to meet or surpass their own standards. I wouldn't say that I have successfully stopped caring altogether yet, but I am learning not to let the shame and stigma of mental illness and addiction prevent me from getting the help I need to improve my life. This one takes a lot of courage and dedication. Cheers to you. I think it takes much more strength to admit our weaknesses and when we need help. Hope you continue to find the help and support you need. Being the best. I'm a smart guy, but not nearly as smart as I used to think I was. I got so used to being the biggest fish in the smallest pond that I spent years and years of my life forsaking everything else for dominance. I had to make the most intelligent comments, get the highest scores, be the best employee, and I did. I wanted it so badly because I thought everyone gave a crap. Turns out no one gives a single crap. Outside of myself, there is nothing compelling me to drive obsessively to the top. Once I realized that and chilled the frick out, life didn't just get easier, it became more meaningful. Nothing. I'm one of those people who overthinks everything and takes every single thing to heart. Makes life real difficult. I stopped caring if I offend my sister-in-law. She is very easy to offend and I refuse to be on eggshells around her anymore. She rarely comes around anymore. That is a good thing. The judgmental negative thoughts in my head. You know, like that was stupid. Or you mess everything up. Everyone has them. It's evolutionary. Once you train yourself to be kind instead, so much happier. Not everybody likes you and that's okay. Also, you don't have to like everybody. Just spend time with those people who make your day better. I have broken up friendships because they didn't make me happy. Look into your address book and make a red circle around every person that makes you happy, that lets you laugh, that you can tell your secrets and problems. Now start to spend time with the red circles and stop thinking about the others. You don't need people in your life who you don't enjoy spending time with. Medical school. I just recently got in, but realized that it's actually a pretty crappy job to be a doctor, so I'm declining the acceptance. Now that I don't care, it's like a spell has been broken. I'm so happy. Thank you for being brave and honest with yourself. I see crappy, bitter doctors every day and it's awful. I stopped caring about video games. I played MMOs, FPS multiplayer, RTS, nearly everything until I was 26. Then one day I just stopped. Every now and again I'll spend 30 minutes tinkering with a game, but after that much time I get this enormous feeling of anxiety making me feel like I'm waiting my life again. In hindsight, I think it's because I see how much of my life I already wasted and wish I could have back and subconsciously made the decision to never make that mistake again. Writing a book. I used to have this idea that thinking up stories has somehow, some way, led to being published or else it doesn't count. Now I just write whenever I feel like it, or tell my stories to my kid instead of writing them down, and it's become fun again. Differences between my opinions and other people's. I used to get really worked up when people liked music, books, or movies that I didn't like, or vice versa. I've come to the realization this year that their opinions are okay, too, and irritation is just exhausting. That's probably why I've stopped going to Tumblr in action. I've stopped caring about making people happy who don't care the same for me. I don't demand 50/50, but you have to give a little. I used to be very closeted and afraid of people finding out about my sexuality. It got really bad during my teen years. Self-harm, poor self-esteem, suicide attempts, etc. As soon as I came out to my family, everything got better and my whole life changed. I wasn't afraid to be myself. Politics. There is no major difference between any of the candidates you will see on mainstream media, regardless of their party. If they were really someone who were going to change things, they would never see the light of day on mainstream media, CNN, Fox or Comedy Central. It's all a facade. I stopped caring about people's opinion of me. I'm 18 and I still embrace the kid within me. For X I still play Pokemon, watch DBZ, Ed Edd n Eddy, Courage the Cowardly Dog. Do I care that you think I'm immature and not mature enough? Number. I'd rather be someone I am than be someone I'm not. For the record, watching animated shows is not a sign of immaturity. Getting drunk every weekend, not being able to pay your bills, and fighting with strangers is. Anyone who tells you that you aren't mature is insecure. Grades. Don't get me wrong, grades are important. But good grades are fairly easy to get if you just do your work and submit it on time. And bad grades, if spare, are not really relevant. And, you're not gonna believe this, if you pay attention in class you barely have to study at all. Killing yourself in the library and pulling all-nighters is just gonna cause you stress, which is gonna affect your diet, your sleep pattern and your concentration. Caring about grades actually makes your grades worse. If your major is in maths or medicine then fine. I get it, you need to be the very best like no one ever was. But if you're a common folk, then it's not hard to get all B's in everything, and reserving your energy to subjects that you really like or that you have the most trouble understanding. Otherwise, just pay attention to class. Take notes, you don't even have to read them. The sole act of writing them down makes them stick to your brain more easily, and submit your work with a decent quality and in time. If you don't procrastinate, you don't need to study. Of course, there are exceptions like butthole teachers, but the general rule applies to the majority of your classes. I have committed myself to earn a degree with the minimal effort without wasting the learning. Up to now I'm halfway through. My grades are 87 average out of 100, and I'm constantly helping people in subjects that aren't even my speciality, because I understand them better than them. I have never studied in my life. I don't even know how to, and the only time I tried I almost failed the class. TLDR. Pay attention to class. Take notes. Submit a decent work and you'll never need to study. Your attitude is basically the same as mine. I'm a couple of years behind you education wise, but studying simply doesn't work as well as paying attention during lessons. A quick flick through notes in the hour before the exam, and it's all good. Stopped caring about getting downvoted on Reddit. I have a lot more fun here now. Sure, I get downvoted every so often, but it doesn't bother me at all. I upvoted, but it would be hilarious to see this get downvoted to heck. What career will make the most money? Was going to study engineering or programming, but wasn't passionate about either. Now in studying music and couldn't be happier. After I stopped worrying about how my skin looked, honestly I felt so much better. I have really crappy eczema and I always have to wear long sleeves to hide it, but honestly I just don't care what other people think anymore. The thoughts of insecurity still linger, but I feel better now than I have before. Familial relations. I have some really toxic individuals in my family who seems to have a self-centered, ghetto mindset that has ruined our relationships. I just decided to cut them off completely, and my life has not been better. I am calmer. I have a greater appreciation for the family I do get along with, and I see nothing but good things for the future. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.